The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Mendoza Mania. We're breaking down the All-22 on Fernando Mendoza versus Ohio State. Is he the answer for the Jets at QB? Joe Blewett will join us as we break down the All-22. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
Brees Hall, he's going to throw the ball. It's caught. Who would have thought them?
How much worse can it get for Aaron Glenn's Jets team? Can he salvage this season and give us something to be excited about? Every step of the journey, the Jake Asman Show will have you covered, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go. We are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook live on a Tuesday, show number 2 on the day. Quick reminder that if you missed the show, we podcast it on Apple and Spotify, so check it out. If you have not already subscribed there, leave a 5-star review on Apple, and we're going to read some of the funnier responses, funnier reviews on the show later this week. Let's say hello right now to our guy from JetsXFactor.com who joins us every Tuesday, Joe Blewett. Joe, we will do some film on the Jets and the Dolphins, but I reached out to you earlier, and I said, you know what? Why are we reviewing film on Jets-Dolphins? We all saw the game. It was a nightmare. Let's give some hope to this fan base, and you have some Fernando Mendoza film from the Big Ten championship game. That, to me, is more exciting than the Jets no-show me against a division opponent on Sunday.
Yeah, and we'll show that too. I'll kind of like lightning around the film of the Jets game as well. But yeah, a little impromptu, like 11 o'clock text, like, hey, you want to do some Fernando Mendoza? So you got to excuse me for some of the sloppiness of it, but we'll get it done. It's I think it's a good sample size, 8-9 plays of some of the good, some of the bad from that game.
Just give us something, right? I mean, something to be hopeful about. Obviously, as we sit here, we know the Jets and the draft is a hot topic of conversation. Jets at pick 7. Worth noting, the Indianapolis Colts pick is looking better by the day. I don't care if Phillip Rivers signed to their practice squad today. Colts right now out of the playoffs if the season ended today, which guarantees it being in the top 18. So the Jets right now, Joe, they pick 7 and 18. And my big thing is, at this point, if the Jets lose out and they're sitting there with a top 4 pick and the Colts very likely lose out, that pick could be, I don't know, pick 13 through 15. And if you have one of those picks with your own top 4 pick, that's plenty to move up if you had to move up to get one of these QBs.
Yeah, and we were talking about it before too. Like they'll maybe be pick 4 or 5, and obviously they can win a game against the Pats or the Bills. Like it's possible, even though we don't think it's going to happen. But we probably lock ourselves in like a top 5 pick. And I think all 3 quarterbacks are coming out just based on the money. We had a whole conversation pre-recording about the money these guys get and how financially like stupid they would be to go back to school when you're guaranteed all of this money when you're going to be a first round pick. So I think at the end of the day, they land one of these quarterbacks, one of the big 3 right now, unless there's like a late riser or something like that, which is obviously possible. Guys move plenty, with a few months before the draft. But I think they end up with one of these 3, and I don't think they're going to have to trade a king's ransom to get one of them. Now, obviously, if they have a preference, they trade up more, whatever it may be. But yeah, it's exciting to talk about quarterbacks and the potential for the future because getting your shit whipped versus the Dolphins 21-0 before you could blink twice is not fun to talk about. So let's hit some quarterback talk. I'm definitely down for it.
Now, you weren't at that game Sunday, were you? I don't think you were.
I was going to go and I bailed out last second. I'm going to go to the last game. I'm going to go to the last game because it's the last game of the year. I was supposed to hit like 6 or 7 games this year and I've hit 3 now. So for good reasons. So it's a lot easier to sit at home and, 4 o'clock the game ends instead of driving back through traffic and walking out. Everybody's depressed and shit. And you're kind of like, you're getting over your drinking. So like you're tired, you feel shitty. It's not worth it. They're awful.
Well said. All right. Let's give people what they want. Let's give people what the title says. Fernando Mendoza film. So Joe, before we get to the play specifically, tell the audience how many games of Mendoza have you watched and your initial thoughts going into the Big Ten title game? Because I know you and I texted last week that we were both very curious to see how he would perform against arguably the best defense in the country, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
I watched every single game of Mendoza. I watched every game of Simpson. I watched every game of Moore. Maybe I'm missing one game of Moore right now. But I watched them all. I don't think he's the clear-cut number one, no doubt about it. There are plays, I think he's the safest prospect, but the ceiling concerns me at times. And, I don't think the mobility is great, like in terms of like throwing on the move. The accuracy is good, but he could hang on to the first read a little bit too much. Like, he's not perfect. He's not a slam dunk prospect where he's going to undoubtedly be Goff or Cousins. Because I feel like in terms of like prospects, and I don't remember exactly what I thought about Josh Rosen, but like kind of similar in terms of like not the best athlete, but super cerebral. No way he could bust. And look what happened to Josh Rosen. So to say it's not possible for him to bust, I think is a little bit silly. But overall, yeah, I think they're all within very close range of each other. I don't think there's a clear cut one. I don't think there's a clear cut two. If you had Moore as your one, I wouldn't kill you. If you had Simpson as your one, I wouldn't kill you. We just talked about the Simpson game from this past weekend. Not the best game, but there's plays, receivers are dropping balls. There's pressure there immediately. There's no running game to speak of against Georgia. There's a play where it's I believe it's a Mills concept, and the number 2 read on a post stops running his route. Simpson throws the ball, and it would have been a touchdown if the receiver kept running his route. He didn't, and then people are going to criticize Simpson like he missed the throw when it was 100% on the receiver. So there's a lot more intricacies to these games than just stats and wins and all that stuff. So I think Simpson, while he hasn't been the best the last 3 or 4 games, you have to take into effect like the situation, the drops, the running game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, he's played down, but let's not just say, okay, Simpson's a 2nd-round draft pick. He's definitely going back to school. Before this weekend, I still had him as my number 1. So they're razor thin within each other, in my opinion.
And I think what's important to note, all these guys are in the playoffs, so they get a chance to really boost their draft stock with big time playoff performances. That's what Mendoza did. It wasn't a playoff game, but went up against the best team and played well. And that is what you want to see from top prospects. So Simpson gets redemption against Oklahoma. Let's see it. And then if they win that game, it would be Mendoza versus Simpson in the 2nd round of the college football playoff in the quarterfinals. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah, and again, there's so many like variables to evaluating these guys. The Purdue play I told you about, like the one deep ball touchdown versus Purdue, Mendoza, he underthrows it by legitimately 15 yards. The receiver makes a contested catch and then breaks like 3 tackles to get into the end zone. But people don't criticize him for that. While you'll have Simpson who throws a ball to an open receiver who then drops it. So it's like all result processed or like result based evaluation of these guys. So again, there's so many variables, and we have so much time in the offseason to get into all of this stuff. I have 100 plus plays of Simpson, which I don't think I'm gonna go over 100 plays here. I will on my channel, but we'll go over plenty here, and Mendoza and more. So we have so much time to talk about these guys, but don't just be like result win based and statistic based with these guys. There's so many intricacies to evaluating the play of these guys. Because that one play where the receiver stops running, it looks like an incomplete and overthrown pass, but you watch it back and the receiver is running for 100% and turns it down to 60, looking back for the ball and doesn't think the ball is coming to him. It does, and he would have been open for a touchdown. But that's a bad play by Simpson, by most evaluators or people who are watching like live. But you actually watch back the film, and it's a play that receiver jacked up for him. So
there you go. All right, we're gonna get to some Mendoza film as Joe pulls up our first clip. I want to let people know that we did do the raffle this morning. Congrats to our 3 winners, but now we're on to raffle 53, and our top prize is a signed football by Darrelle Revis. Prize 2 is a signed jersey by Wayne Corbett. Prize 3 is a signed photo by Hall of Famer LaDainian Tomlinson, scoring a touchdown against the Patriots in the Jets' last playoff win. So those are the 3 prizes for this week. Gift away to enter. Be like Chris B, who's the first to enter on this show. He sent in 1 gifted membership. Chris, thank you. And we got you down in the Asmaniac raffle. All right, Joe, let's get to some Mendoza film. Play number 1. We all can see your screen. Take it away.
Okay. Yeah. So, top of the screen, he just reads two verticals. He's going to read inside out here. Hangs on to it a little bit. They drop into a Tampa 2, and he's not sure if this safety's going to drive down on this dig. So he hangs on to it a little bit. after he comes off of that, because obviously, nothing's open in terms of, okay, Tampa matches at the pull runner, safety's over the top, safety to the top here is driving down on this route. So then he gets it to the mesh. The mesh, there's defenders sitting short on both sides of the mesh, and there's a little bit of pressure from his right side. So then he feels that pressure, rolls out to the left. And what I like about this is just him keeping his eyes down the field here as he gets outside of the pocket to the left here. At this point, most quarterbacks kind of just duck their head and run it because he's almost at the line of scrimmage, but he keeps his eyes down the field until the very last second. Like the line of scrimmage, I believe, is about the 41-yard line. He's about a yard away from it. He sees this player uncover and then throws the ball with some pressure in his face and makes a completion, or has a completion right there. So good play by him. Reading, getting through the reads quickly, getting to the mesh, seeing that nothing's open there, keeping the eyes down the field, making the throw on the run for the completion. And again, with this, there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just going in order of what I recorded. This is a little bit thrown to me last second, but a good play by him. Getting through the reads, getting out of the pocket, showing some of the mobility. I think it's functional. I don't think he's a guy you run like read option for consistently or anything like that, but he has functional mobility. He's not a statue. So nice to see that. Nice to see him getting through the reads and keeping the eyes downfield. Next play. So this is underthrown. This is an underthrown deep ball. Again, there is good and bad in here. There's a mixture. I'm not just gonna do like a hype piece for him. And either it's gonna be all completely fair to what I see from Mendoza. So here, receiver comes open. So you have the play action, I guess. And he's going to read the bottom of the screen. He might check the top first. I have to see his eyes from the other view. Again, I didn't prep this at all. I think he may check the top first and see the corner over the top. So he's obviously going to come off of that with a vertical route, right? Gets to the bottom. And you have the streak seam, so he's gonna read the inside first, and this defender is going to be the conflict, the safety. He sees the safety starting to work over top of the number 1 to the bottom here. So now he's going to read, okay, is the seam route going to be open to the inside right here? And obviously the seam route is open, right? He has a yard on that DB. It might be a line. I think it's a DB, but this is one of my issues with Mendoza is he tends to underthrow deep balls a little bit more than I want to. Simpson's not the most accurate with deep balls either at times. I think Dante Moore actually has the best and most consistent deep ball accuracy and touch out of all the quarterbacks. But this is a situation where you have a yard and a half, maybe even 2 yards on the DB, and he underthrows it. He underthrows it here, making the receiver work back for the ball in a situation where if he leads the receiver, you're talking about a walk-in touchdown here. So obviously, easier said than done. You're talking about, a 55-yard ball, but you want to put some more heat on that and lead him a little bit more, right? So makes him gear down, contested, no completion there for Mendoza in a situation where you want to see that be completed, 9 out of 10 times to lead him vertically.
Can you run the play through in one motion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think he just reads the bottom right away. He's gonna read that safety again. He sees him expanding, yep. And then you see the underthrow where he has to gear down. So just watch the gear down of the receiver. It's a little bit, if it's playing a choppy, you can't see the gear down. We can see clearly he has to slow down there quite a bit for that ball. If he leads them there, you're talking about a walk-in touchdown. So it's one area I want to see both Simpson and Mendoza improve on is the deep ball touch leading guys, etc. Mendoza had a very bad underthrow versus Purdue, where I think is underthrown by probably 15 yards. The receiver then makes a contested catch and breaks 4 or 5 tackles to walk into the end zone. So an area I want to see Mendoza do better in. The start of this is not good for Mendoza. It gets better though. So I don't think I'm just dumping on him for no reason. It's just the start of the game. He was not
3 of 8 in the opening quarter, and then he got way better second quarter on.
Yeah, I don't want people to think I'm cherry picking bad plays to start out with or anything like that, or just being super negative, because it does definitely get more positive towards the end of this. But we're showing some of the flaws, right? He's not the perfect prospect. I don't think anybody really is, but there are flaws here too. So RPO on this one. So he's just going to be reading this corner here, seeing if the corner is going to be squatting or if he's going to be choking up on this route. The corner kind of squats on the route and doesn't close around on it. So it's a situation where he pulls that ball and wants to get it to the receiver quickly, puts it a little bit too far to the outside for the receiver. The receiver gets his hands on it, but a pass where you're making him make a very tough adjustment for that ball, right? Want to put it obviously outside because of where the corner is, but we don't want to put it so far outside where the receiver is having to make a diving catch for the ball right there. So again, RPO reading that corner's off, throw the ball. And again, we can see he gets both hands on it, but not an easy catch for the receiver, right? Want to put it a little bit more to the inside to make it easier for him. So a guy who's generally very accurate, but it's not like every single pass is flawless, right? So moving on, and this is another bad one. I think we mostly get to the good after this, and we're starting off with a decent amount of bad here. But this is the interception, and this is another RPO where he's going to be, he's going to decide if he's going to hand this ball off, or he's going to obviously throw like the smoke screen to the number one receiver to the top right there. And based on this corner, this is who we should be reading. Based on the corner looking at him and starting to choke up on this route, this is a situation where I want to see him just hand this ball off, because if this corner gains depth, yeah, fine. Your blockers have time to set in with this. Is it a tackle, or is who exactly getting outside there? I think maybe it's just it's a big tight end. If he's playing off, then yeah, this block has time to set in, but the corner is reading him. You can see the eyes on Mendoza, and then he starts to angle to the outside to break on the smoke screen. And a situation where Mendoza should hand the ball off, doesn't hand the ball off, contested, gets intercepted. So want to see a little bit better in terms of the processing and hand the ball off there instead of trying to force that ball into there on a screen. Get mostly to the good now. So this is a good one. This is something that Fields and mostly Jets quarterbacks are not going to do, throwing versus leverage. Like, guys don't always have to be wide open, but if they have leverage to where you're throwing the ball, it's a ball you want to get rid of. So you have a bench concept right here with the vertical. Gonna read this first, and the you have a DB over the top of this here and here as well. So you're not going to throw that route. He gets to the outside with the out route, and he sees an out breaking route versus inside leverage. Rolls and he fits the ball in there. It's a little bit to the inside. Want it ideally leading to the outside, just because if that's an NFL DB, they may break on that a little bit faster and may be able to contest that or punch their hands in through the catch point. So you want a little bit more outside. So it's general accuracy. It's not pinpoint accuracy for Mendoza, but I like the idea of, getting through the reads quickly, firing that ball in there versus leverage, first down on 3rd and 6 or whatever. It may have, I think it's 3rd and 6 about there. So a good play overall by Mendoza. Again, general accuracy, not pinpoint from him though on that one, but generally obviously a good play with like the half roll out there and then firing that ball in there before the DB can close some ground.
And Joe, just to confirm, it's supposed to be playing like almost like a slideshow, right? It's not like one fluid motion.
Yeah, I'm just trying to show the leverages. So maybe I'll play it first through and then kind of break it down like that, where it's a slideshow. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to show frame by frame to see what he's looking at and stuff, instead of trying to explain it as it's going, and then it's kind of hard to process it. But
like John wrote, why is it filmed frame by frame? Can we see straight video live? Hard to see what's going on.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay. So I'll play it first straight through, and then we'll just go right to it. So this one's an easy one to break down. You have the play action. You have the slide route right there from 37. They're bigger tight end, fullback, H-back, whatever he is. It should be playing smooth now, right, Jake? It shouldn't be choppy.
No, it's still kind of choppy. That's why I think it's a connection problem. That's what I was wondering.
Okay. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can adjust some stuff on my side and close a window or two and make it better.
Let's see if we can get.
Okay.
I was noticing it too, but I wasn't sure if you were trying to show it a certain way, but it was, I think it's a connection issue with the clip. I think that was the problem.
Yeah. Or it's the fact that my computer is 8 years old and I need to drop 2 G's on getting a new computer. So it could be a little bit faster. So that's probably what it is. If you want to switch to the old way of doing it, we can do that as well. But here with this one, again, play action, slide route. This is going to be the first read. And the only thing that I'm showing here is that he's very not stoic. That's not the right word, but he's definitely willing to step up into pressure and throw the ball into a hit. So he knows he's going to get a hit here. Slide route's wide open, but delivers the ball while getting, speared. So we like to see that he's very willing to throw that ball into pressure in situations like this, and is not going to cower down and be inaccurate because he's afraid of the hit. He's definitely a guy who's willing to step into hits and not cower down to it. So that's one of his strongest traits is being being able to do those type of things.
He took a monster hit in this game. He really did. And they got back
the
up.
First play of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, first play or first pass of the game, actually. I don't know if it's exactly the first play. The first pass, he got absolutely smacked. So, yeah. And then this one, and hopefully it's not choppy. It's a little bit easier to break it down. I can do it like it's a little bit more. I can manipulate it a little bit better when it's on my screen like this. But if not, we can always switch back to the other view. This is a really good deep ball by him. Again, an area I think he's a little bit more inconsistent than you'd want. Same thing with Simpson, but in terms of the play, this could be read this inside route, or it could just be a clear out, and then you have like a mill or a dagger concept from the backside. So I think he does check the inside route, but with that inside route, you have this DB who's over the top of it with an underneath defender as well. So you're not going to throw this ball. So then you're going to get to the number 2 right here with the post, and what he sees is outside leverage of this DB with a post to the inside, chucks the ball up there and puts it in a pretty good spot. The receiver has to slow down a little bit, but it's a deep ball. It's a very deep ball, so you can't kill him for it. But a good play, again, reading that safety, getting to his second read right there and putting it right on the money for the receiver. So I don't want people to think that I'm saying that he can't throw the deep ball and there's no plays of him doing it. It's just the consistency down by down or play by play, doing it and putting it in the right spot. But obviously this one, right? Like this is a money throw from Mendoza. So you love to see it, especially with some of the deep threats that the Jets have with AD, and hopefully Arian Smith can bounce back a little bit. Who, by the way,
adding to that room.
Yeah, by the way, and I'm doing a review on like 18, 19 Jets of their seasons, and Arian Smith's he's getting open deep a little bit more than I expected. It's just something the Jets don't hit like ever. So there are actually some plays where he's just being sent deep. And he's open. It's just the ball never gets to him. So I'm a little bit more favorable to Arian Smith than I was like pre-watching the film. So I'm not saying I'm overly high on him, but just noting it. So this play to the bottom, I think he checks the top quickly there. We could check it from the other view and just sees if this vertical is going to open quickly, and then gets to the smash fade to the bottom of the screen. So he's going to read the fade route right here. Safety sits high, so now you have a one-on-one situation with this receiver, and he sees the DB with that inside leverage. I would like to see this ball more back shoulder than it is. He puts it more like on the front side of him, which allows the receiver to like attack it and make a play. But you always do want to throw to the open grass, because that's a ball it's a little bit hard to see right there because it's like just the frame rate of it. That's a ball that could be contested. Ideally, you want to put it back shoulder to the green grass and let him attack the ball away from the DB instead of working into the DB to get it. And that's another area I think he does need to improve on. The fade balls can tend to be a little bit too far to the inside. And I have quite a few examples of this where I want to see it more back shoulder here. Again, you want this more, to where my cursor is instead of more to the inside like it is. The receiver makes a great catch. And it's something that you got to consider, or you have to consider with like him versus a guy like Simpson. Receiver drops this. Like, I know they have some great names there, but the receivers have not been helping him out in situations like this year, where 13, this is pretty much just like a 50-50 ball. He puts it up in a good spot or in an okay spot, and the receiver makes the play more so than he does. But I like the idea of, seeing the DB's back, letting your receiver make a play on that fade ball. By the way, are the frames a little bit better now? Is it still choppy, or
it's still kind of the same? But
yeah, okay.
The analysis is good, and we could get the gist of what you're breaking down.
All right. Does anybody want to drop a $2,000 super chat for a new MacBook Pro? If anyone wants to do that, just let me know. But I'll be getting one soon, so hopefully we could drop some of the choppiness.
Hey, Taylor wrote in. Thanks for the film on the fly, Joe. We appreciate you. Taylor in the Asmaniac raffle for 2. Thank you, Taylor.
Dude, I'm not gonna try to make you feel bad here, Jake. But I woke up to that because I work midnights, and I saw the text at like 11:30, and I was like running through my head, like, okay, what play is? How the hell am I gonna do this? I haven't prepped this at all. So you kept me up a little bit. You screwed up my sleep. But the impromptu review. It's okay. I appreciate being on here anyway. But
it's all good, man. Well, just give us a little feel for how we did against Ohio State, because people were. I mean, you saw it on social media over the weekend. People were excited. It feels like Mendoza became the guy the Jet fan wanted after this performance against the Buckeyes in this one.
And I'm not saying it's not an impressive game. It definitely is. I think people are definitely like prisoners of the moment where, he'll be quarterback one. And then if Simpson has a good game or two and Mendoza just okay, Simpson will be that new guy. So I think you have to take in the entirety of the season and not just a game or two where a guy is off, because it happens. Again, like if you were to watch Mendoza the first two games against like Kennesaw State, and I forget who the first game it was, you would watch him and be like, I don't think I would touch him with a first round pick. But now he's playing really well in these last few games. So it's, now he is, the guy, where Simpson was kind of the opposite, started hotter and then has faded recently. But just don't be a victim of or the prisoner of the moment type stuff with these evals. But next one, this is a throw on the move. I would like to see him hit the first read here. So play action fake, and he's going to read the top. A really good anticipatory throw and just like reading of leverage. He's gonna throw this. He's gonna throw this ball because it's an out route versus a DB who's, if he was in more of like a shuffle technique and his hips were parallel to the line to the sideline, if he was in a shuffle technique and parallel to the sideline, he could break on this easier. But for him to get outside on this route, he's going to have to either flip completely around, which is nearly impossible when you're running full speed, or, which he's going to do, I'm assuming, at least I actually don't remember, but if he doesn't speed turn here, it's a problem. He should speed turn and turn his hips outside to the left, and to make it impossible to match that route. So really, really, and he has typically really good anticipation. This is a throw I would say he typically hits, just based on the matchup here in terms of him being underneath and the hips open how they are. He doesn't throw it. So, okay, not an elite play by him to not throw that ball because he's clearly open, and just based on, again, the matchup and how they were both turned, he was going to be open. So I'd like to see him throw that ball. Now, with that being said, feels some pressure, rolls out to the right. And what I love is that, again, keeps his eyes down the field, right? Sees the receiver in the middle of the field on the scramble drill come open or make himself available, get that ball to him. But a situation where, again, with like elite anticipation, he's going to throw that ball to the deep out right there. Still an overall positive play, but not the perfect play either. Last play of him. And again, overall good game. And I don't put up the plays that I feel aren't very impactful. It has to be impactful, like very impactful, positively or negatively. I don't want to just put up like, okay, he hit a slant that's wide open or anything like that. So this is another play. I put good deep ball touch lead though. This is another play where like this is a good ball, but not a great ball from Mendoza deep. So again, snap the ball, and then he's going to read the bottom, and he typically going to check the inside first here, unless you just like the matchup, and this is like an alert versus a coverage, which looks like cover zero. This could be like an alert throw where he's just going to bypass this and just throw to the number one, no matter what, to the bottom. So checks the safety, looks to the bottom of the screen, right? You have a matchup where, if he's even, he's leaving type of deal. Let's see when he actually goes load up to throw the ball. It's about now. If you have faith in your receiver to work past this DB, even leaving type stuff, you want to lead him. He puts the ball a little bit short where the receiver has to slow down for it and make more of a contested catch, but still a good ball, not a great ball, right? I think a great ball would be leading him where he doesn't have to attack it like that. So again, just be aware of the deep ball stuff. I think he's generally good, but not great there. So, every play doesn't have to be bad or elite. There's plays that are in the middle, and I think this is a generally good play, but a play you maybe want to see a perfect ball leading him for potentially a touchdown there.
You get the honesty from Joe Blewett, folks. The good, the bad. He doesn't sugarcoat it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, which is not always popular. I think it'd be easier for like 90%, 95% of the fan base is like blowing smoke up his ass. And I think it's easy for me to come on here and like, oh my God, great game. It was good. I'm not going to say it was elite, but you also have to factor in like the moments of the game, how big the game was. Like there's so many factors into it, not just the individual plays as well. So again, there's so many different things to evaluate in some of these with some of these quarterbacks. And as you know, like, how many GMs miss on quarterbacks? It's the hardest position to evaluate in all of sports. So you can have him who looks great, comes in, he's Kirk Cousins, or you can have him come in and he gets rattled and he's freaking Josh Rosen. You don't know.
You don't know is certainly right. All right, couple announcements here before we get to the film from the Jets and the Dolphins. Let's do a raffle, end of the show. It's a jersey raffle. That's right. You pick the Jets legendary player you want. Jets GOAT raffle. Name it: Klecko, Martin, Corbett, Revis, Mangold, or Keyshawn. enter by gifting a membership. JT is in the Asmaniac raffle for 1. Thank you, JT. He's in for 2. He gifted a membership in addition to signing up. So, JT, we have you down. And Wesley Gates gifted the community a membership earlier in the show. So, he's in our raffle for 1 as well. We got a super chat here from Weeb the Dweeb I want to get to. He says, I don't think we should wait for a quarterback in 2027. Get one now. I like Mendoza. I think he could be a future top 10 in this league. Coaching matters as well. I think, Joe, you and I have talked before on the show. We're both in agreement. You got to get the quarterback figured out this offseason. It's way too risky to wait another year.
Yeah, it's just a thing where, like, even if your play doesn't decline, this is such a long discussion before the podcast, but like, even if your NIL deal is really high and it's $6, $7, $8 million, what happens if you go back to school and you rip your leg in half and then you're a 6th round pick? And I don't know what 6th round picks make per year, but let's even round it up. And I think this is high. Let's say it's $1 million. So then you made $8 million NIL, and then you're a 6th round draft picks because you blew your leg in half. And now you're making $1 million a year, total of $12 million, where if you come out in the first round, you're guaranteed what, $40, $50 million. So it's a really big risk to go back to school. If they want to do it, fine. But like, if I was a financial advisor for them, just come out and get your money. Now, maybe it's ideal to go back and get more experience and stuff. But in terms of setting yourself up for life, if you're guaranteed to be a first round pick, I don't understand how you do not come out. Especially you see like stuff from recent years like Drew Alar and et cetera. So yeah, come out and make your money. Secure the rest of your life financially.
So I just looked up what Quinn Ewers' contract is, right? Because he was a 7th round pick, played quarterback, could have stayed in school, chose to come out. He's getting paid $4.33 million over 4 years. So let's say a little more than $1 million a year, right? Again, like if you have a chance to be a top 10 pick, top 15 pick, we're talking about, if you're in the top 5, close to $50 million guaranteed. Cam Ward got $48.5 million guaranteed. Cap only goes up. Meaning the number 1 pick of the draft this year, Mendoza, Moore, whoever, they're going to get over $50 million fully guaranteed.
Oh yeah, and I'm seeing the comments too. I apologize, people from the computer. That's not me personally. I see everybody's like, "Oh my god, that was awful." My bad, people. That's my old ass computer. But in terms of like waiting for the quarterback in 2027, the problem with that is like, what happens if it's a draft where the Jets pick 15, 16, and they get to trade a boatload to get up? And on top of that, what happens if there's only 1 quarterback who comes out, or 2, and both the teams at the top need a quarterback? Like, you're not guaranteed to get a quarterback next year. I don't care about what they're saying about that class next year. You've already hit this plenty with me on the podcast. It's you can't guarantee it. All the guys this year, Drew Alar, Nussmeier, Klubnik, et cetera, Sellers, were supposed to be first round picks, and none of those guys are even sniffed the first round at this point. So to say, oh, the 2027 is going to be better, you have literally no idea. And then as a staff, you're risking the fact that you may get fired, because nothing's more attractive than a new coach coming in with probably $100 million ish in cap space next year, 3 first round draft picks. So if they come back and they don't draft the quarterback, they have a bridge, and then they win 5 games next year, and you get 8 wins over 2 years, they're gone. So they may force a quarterback unnecessarily because they want to save their jobs as well. So I don't think it happens. I think they get one of these 3 guys, and we go from there. But again, I apologize for the connection, people. I don't want it to be crappy like that, but I guess it is what it is. But my fault.
Don't worry about it, Joe. Your analysis was strong as usual. Sean Horton thought so. That's why he just gifted the community 5-channel membership.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Super chat here. And again, thank you to Sean. We got you in for 5. You got a membership from him. Thank him. NYJ says, Mendoza is the hot topic, but I wouldn't mind if our team spends a 2nd round pick on Surratt if he drops that far. So Surratt's the Indiana receiver that we just featured on some of those clips. Your thoughts on him from what you've seen watching Indiana?
Yeah, no, I like him too. A lot of the players on Indy, like, I would love to pair guys, right? Like, I like the connection that guys have. The receiver from Alabama too. Is it Bernard? I think he's supposed to be a 2nd round pick. Like, I like stacking guys like that. But yeah. So Surratt, again, like, have I studied him individually? No, I'm focusing more just on the quarterbacks and stuff. I'm not the biggest college football guy, so it's not like I could comment a ton on him. But yeah, sure.
Dom C has Elijah Surratt as his 14th ranked receiver.
Oh. Yeah. We'll get into studying the receivers in the off, or I'll get a little bit more into studying some of the receivers because I think that's a need for the Jets. You know, you have Mechie who went from, oh my God, he's the number 2 to maybe being not even on the roster next year. So there's a lot to go in terms of like where we're gonna where some of these receivers are gonna finish and what we feel the Jets are gonna need in free agency and stuff. But I would love to pair a young receiver on this roster with Garrett and AD and all that stuff. So I would expect a receiver in the top 3 rounds at minimum for the Jets, I would say. So yeah, I think it's worthwhile to look into the top 10-ish receivers.
Dylan writes in, the volatility of Simpson makes me nervous, but the upside of him and Moore intrigues me over Mendoza. But Mendoza's safe, so I get the love there.
Yeah. The volatility. And again, he did not have a good game. The last game, I don't think it was as bad as people say when you consider the pressure. There was 3 or 4 throws that were inaccurate from Simpson. And one of his biggest problems is that he tends to go for too much. Like he'll see a hitch that's open for 5 yards and be like, screw it, I'll get to the backside of the read and then try to hit that for more yards. So if Simpson can just hone in and hit the first read when it's open, he would be much more consistent in my eyes. But he's the highest ceiling of these guys, in my opinion. Moore is a nice midpoint, I think, between Mendoza and Simpson. Simpson has the strongest arm, in my opinion. I think he's also the fastest. I think Dante Moore is more quick than fast, but a really good deep ball. He just doesn't make as many like anticipatory throws and tight window throws as a Simpson and a Mendoza does. But he's a little more safe than Simpson, but maybe not as high of a floor as Mendoza. So he's like a nice midpoint. So if you have Moore as your 1, I don't think people are crazy for that. So I get the comment, like he's safe, but I get the love there. But if safe is the ceiling of like Kirk Cousins, are you willing to risk that when he can also be a bust? Like if you were to guarantee me he's Kirk Cousins or Jared Goff, okay, but that's you cannot guarantee that. There's absolutely no way you can do that. So
well said. And again, you can win with those guys, especially Goff. We've seen that. So I would 100% be on board with that. JT says, Jake, you're okay with the Jets basically blowing away picks on Mendoza. I'm okay with it within reason. Like if the Jets go out there and they are in love with Fernando Mendoza and they're willing to trade up a couple spots to guarantee they get him, yeah, I'm okay with trading some draft picks. Would I trade, 3 ones to do it? No. But I don't think it's going to cost that. People need to calm down with like the trade value on what it would take to move up from 4 or 5 to 1 or 2 to get one of these guys. It's not as much as what has been, recklessly speculated by some on social media. It's just not true.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have to trade 3 first-round draft picks or anything like that to get up. Obviously, it depends on who comes out in terms of like if Simpson and Moore come out, which I really do think they do. But there will be other options, so I don't think they'll get a king's ransom for a top pick. And obviously, it depends on where the Jets fall. But I think I'm like, for me personally, I don't want to trade it for any of these quarterbacks. Really, like there's not enough of a gap between these guys. I'm okay with any one of them. Now, if they have conviction in a guy and they want to trade up like a 2nd-round pick, fine. But I would really try to stay away from a 1st-round pick based on all the holes the Jets have. And just in general, like give up the farm for these guys. The problem is the Jets have holes too. So if you're trading 3 first-round draft picks to get up, then you're not filling some of the holes. I get they have the cap space, but I don't think it's going to take as much as people think in general, I guess, either.
You look at the resources they have between the cap space and all the premium picks. You could trade a couple of them if it means you get your guy. But, man, the idea that you wouldn't trade anything, like some Jet fans have said, like, you got to give to get. Like, if we don't have a quarterback on this team next year that's getting reps and going through it, what are we talking about? Like, this team is doing nothing with Gardner Minshew as their bridge a year from now.
Yeah, and again, like, does the staff risk that? That's the problem too. Is if they finish with 5-6 wins, it's just they're asking for a new staff to come into an ideal situation. $100 million, 3 first-round draft picks, and again, the generational 2027 class. I have to do the air quotes with that because it's always that type of way. But maybe that I don't know. So yeah, it's a huge risk, and one of the things with this draft class, and again, I have to do more like evals on the quarterbacks and whatever else, but it seems like it's the top 3 guys and like a large gap between the next guys. So it doesn't seem like there's like that 2nd round. And again, a lot of movement can happen in the coming months, but it doesn't seem like there's like a 2nd round guy right now who's really going to be there. It seems like it's the top 3 and then like guys third, fourth, fifth round. Again, I could be wrong on that because I haven't evaluated these guys transparently. But yeah, I think they come out, and I think you have to land one of these guys because you're really risking your jobs if not.
I'm skipping ahead to Dom C's super chat. What's up, Dom? Hey, Joe, start getting into the linebacker class because it's looking like we're going to need a complete overhaul of that positional group. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the Jets-Dolphins film yet, but it was another masterclass in bad linebacking by the Jets.
I will share the film to you, and then you could play it. So the chat's not, again, my fault. So we'll do that stuff. But the linebackers, Quincy was disgustingly bad in this game. It was horrific to watch the defense again in this game. Wilkes undoubtedly needs to be fired because it's not even stuff where it's like, I'm not even like nitpicking and Monday morning quarterbacking stuff. Like there are so many basic collegiate level coverages that the Jets can execute. They need to dump Wilkes. It is really horrific how bad the defense is. And we're getting into a lot of the passing stuff. But it's also the run defense too in this game was just awful. Because of the linebackers are too east and west. What Sherwood weigh 215. You're asking them to take on guards in the NFL outweighing by 80 pounds. It doesn't make sense. So if you can get rid of Sherwood somehow, I would see a complete revamp of the linebacker group, bring in 3-4 new guys. I think Maui Noah is a decent like backup who has potential, but past that, I don't want to see Quincy or Sherwood here realistically. They're really tough to watch.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. We'll get to that film in a moment, but first, Dan the Jet fan says, would you trade back from 13 to 15 with the Indy pick?
Yeah, why not? Right? Like if they can, obviously it depends on who's there. But if you can trade back and secure more picks for a team who has a bunch of holes, then yeah, I'm always a fan of taking more swings and stuff. And again, I got to get more into the draft class, but it seems like it's like a deep group, not like a top heavy group. Now, if there's like a bunch of blue chippers up high and like at that 3 to 15 range, like there's the really good players, then it's a dip down. Maybe you don't want to trade down. But if you don't feel like there's a large difference between 15 and 28, 30 in this class, then hell yeah, trade down, get an extra second round pick or whatever it may be. I'm all about, trading back and securing more picks and taking more shots on these guys. Obviously, depending on the situation, right? Like if Caleb Downs is there at 13 or 15 or whatever, and we all love them and they trade down, we'll be pissed. But if we're kind of indifferent on the players there, then hell yeah, trade down.
You might need that pick to trade up to get the quarterback, but if you keep the Indy pick and you could move it to get capital, all about it. All about it.
Yeah, my God, that'd be great.
Big Country says, do you think Garrett will be back this year, or do you think they'll let him rest for the year? Just would like to see a receiver that can catch Brady Cook's ball feel better. Jake, Big Country, I appreciate you. I don't think we see Garrett Wilson again, nor should we. They're 3-10. Why risk it? We know what he is. Let him be fully healthy. And I don't need Garrett Wilson helping the Jets win a meaningless game that hurts their draft pick at this late in the year.
Yeah, I want to see competitive losses. Like I bought in a little bit. You're competitive for a few weeks, 5 weeks there. But the problem with this game is, and I don't know if you feel the same or the chat feels the same, but it feels like all the good that was done the last 4 or 5 weeks was wiped out by how brutal this game was. Like it's unacceptable. The Dolphins are not the 2000 Ravens or whatever, an elite team. They've been playing better. So like they've been a mediocre team, but 21-0. What was it legitimately in the first 7 minutes of the game, 8 minutes of the game? It was 21-0. So inexcusable. So I bought in a little bit, but after that game, like what does a win against the Saints do for you really at this point? Like is Jermaine Johnson gonna be like, or Breece Hall gonna be like, yeah, I'll resign with the Jets. Remember that game to bring us to 3 to 4 wins against the Saints in December? Like, I don't think it really matters at this point. The staff is not going to prove to me that they deserve to be here long-term in 4 games anyway. So while I like for them to prove it and show me some positivity, it's not going to make an impact enough to negate the effect of having to trade up more for a quarterback or anything like that. So yeah, competitive losses would be fantastic and get a top 3 to 5 pick.
Totally agree. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Call and link is pinned. Joe, what's the best way for us to do this review here and hammer through some clips? Because I know the way we just tried wasn't great. You tell me.
Oh, it wasn't? I didn't see anything about that in the chat. In the chat, my computer is like it's like you could hear the steam coming off of it. It's about to like overheat. But I will share the play like we used to do, and then I'll kind of just run through it quickly, because when I share it on my screen like we just did, it's easier for me to control where the play is exactly. Whereas when you share it, it's a little bit more like choppy. So it's a little bit harder for me to do it, but it is what it is. These plays I can go through relatively quickly and like fly through it. So I'll share it with you, and then we can share it to the chat.
Cool. So whenever you're ready, post the first clip. I'll pull it on, and Not safe for work or small children, what you're about to see from the Jet defense Sunday against the Dolphins. Good Lord.
Yeah. Let me just, okay. Video file. Yeah. We'll do offense first, and then I'll get into the defense. But there's just plays like that, just a mediocre quarterback hits. And I've been pretty disappointed with Tyrod in this game, or just in general. And there's plays that he's missing, like people talking about. I know like Black Gypsy's big on levels and guys in the flat and all that stuff. And this is a situation where you have Breece Hall in the flat, one-on-one with a linebacker, dump it off to your, people think he's a top 10, top 15 running back, and let him make a play. I believe this play is first down. You could dump it off and get 5-6 yards on first down. That's a play we'll take. He doesn't, and then ends up throwing the ball out of bounds. So we'll watch it. I believe it's a sail concept off the top of my head. And he comes off of it as there's nothing open, right? So I'm going to pause it, right? You're not going to throw anything vertical. You're not going to throw this vertical route because there's a DB over the top to the high. And you can't see my cursor here too. That's the problem. But the highest receiver, you're not going to throw it to him because there's a DB over the top. And then the receiver just underneath of him is running an out break, and there's an outside corner there. So you're not going to throw that, right? It looks like a cover 6 that the half safety pushes over because there's no threat there. So then you have a situation where, hey, in the flat right here, to the top, I have Breece Hall one-on-one with a linebacker, right? That's the flat, right? So throw the ball there, let him make a play. Tyrod never looks at it, doesn't throw it to Breece Hall. Then he ends up scrambling out to the right side, drops his eyes. Now we have another guy open. And I know it's really high right now, but Andrew Beck is right between the hashes right now. He checks and releases, and Beck is wide open. If Tyrod just peeks to his left right here, he can hit Beck for what should be, a pretty good gain here. He never looks at him, and he's planning on throwing. It's not like he's going to scramble. Like, he's not dropping his eyes here because, he's going to make a move on the corner. Like, he's going to throw it away anyway. So why not just peek to the inside? He doesn't. And then he throws the ball away. So now it's like, bad play. But Breece Hall was open in the flat, could have made a move. Andrew Beck was open underneath levels for a play that could have gotten you 5-10 yards right there, but he throws it away. So do you blame Engstrand for that, or am I blaming the quarterback? I am blaming the quarterback. I want to go back and watch the play right before he came out. I think maybe he overextended his leg on a handoff there. I don't know, but that's part of the problem. When you're 37 years old, you have a ton of injuries, you start to overcompensate and stuff, and it's easier to get injured. I know guys know it on here, especially if you're not active and stuff. Obviously, if you're not active and stuff, it hurts you a little bit more, but people throw out their backs by sneezing. So, Tyrod's been injured, plenty. And obviously this is one of the reasons we're afraid of him being, that bridge for next year, because he can get injured, handing the ball off, which I think he was injured on a handoff, which is obviously not ideal.
Chris B in the raffle for 1. Thank you, Chris. Moneybags, Chris. Yeah.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Okay, Chris, you're in for 1. Joe Blewett with us, weekly film breakdown. You have a question for Joe, anything Jets, college football related on the Mendoza film review we did at the beginning, write it in. Not going to be a super long show. If you haven't heard, you haven't seen the way I look or sound, I am going through it right now. So I need to rest the voice because it's going to be another long week. So we will not do a ton of calls today on the show. So if you want your question guaranteed to be answered, I recommend you super chat it. But Joe, here we go. Another play from the Jet offense in this debacle on Sunday.
Yeah. So to the top of the screen, we have a smash concept, and of course, it's not playing on my screen right now, but top of the screen, smash concept. Is it playing for you, Jake, or is it not playing for you?
Just started to at the end there.
Just started to. Okay, hold on. I'll just pull that one off. I don't know what is going on with my computer right now, so I apologize, people. Smash concept. There's a corner open there, and he checks the ball down to a hitch route 4 yards short of the sticks when the corner route comes open. If he just manipulates the cloud corner, he doesn't checks the ball down for short of the gain right there. But let's see if the next play works. We'll get into some Cook stuff. Who did not play great at the start, and both of the interceptions were not good by him. That one, the first interception was brutal. That was way too far inside. It was an awful ball. And the second one, not a great ball. He needs to lead A.D. Mitchell more there vertically, but he actually made some nice throws towards the end of the game, like anticipatory throws. So while not a good game from Cook, I didn't watch him, and I was like, oh my God, he's awful. There's some plays where I was like, oh, I'm actually pretty impressed by Cook, considering he had 2 days of practice. I'm sure none of them with the starters, right? Because starters typically don't practice with, or backups don't typically play with the starters. So I would say more impressed with Cook than I thought it would be, even though he had 2 pretty terrible interceptions. So got to be fair to Cook. But this play, if it freaking works, because the computer's just struggling right now.
I see it. I see the play.
Okay. Yay, here we go. Sorry, chat. So top of the screen, he reads the 2 verticals typically, or 99 times out of 100, you're going to read inside to outside on this play. So he comes off of the first read because there's a safety, that middle of the field safety. So he's going to come off of the seam route, get to the outside corner over the top of that. So he's not going to want to throw that ball. You have the crosser coming from the bottom of the screen with A.D. Mitchell. And this is one that you want to see. Cook wants back because he puts it behind A.D. Mitchell. But with that being said, again, it's not like Blacker like 100. This is 100%, Cook's fault, because if you watch, and I want you guys to watch A.D. Mitchell here, A.D. Mitchell is running this drag, and then he checks the flat. Like he starts to look back at Cook, checks the flat, and then looks back to Cook again. He's a little bit late to adjust to the ball. So it's not a great ball by Cook, but that's a ball that he should be able to adjust to. And he doesn't, because he's just late to find it, because he's checking the flat there. So not a great ball by Cook, but not great by Cook, not great by AD. You also have to blame AD for the lack of adjustment to that ball a little bit. As
Jets 6 total drops in the game Sunday, which was the most in any game this entire season. Chiefs had 5 in their loss to Houston on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, they definitely did not help Cook. So now, and I don't think Angstrom had a great game in this game either. There were some plays I didn't like the one play. I think it was before the end of the first half. It was like 5 slants. I did not love that at all. There's not a lot of creativity there. And there was one play where they ran verticals. It was 3 verticals, and there was no check down option for Cook, which I didn't like. So not the best game from Engstrand, but Cook has had some hiccups in this game. And also the receivers dropping 6 balls is obviously not ideal. I think 2 or 3 of those came from Mason Taylor. He typically has very good hands. Most of those balls were behind him, but still balls you want to see him haul in. But is what it is. It's not an ideal situation for your UDFA to be in after 2 days of practice, and then obviously the receivers dropping balls. So it'll be nice to see Garrett back. But with that being said, I'm still letting him ride the pond for the last 4 games.
Totally agree. Big Country Road, and I want to see what Brady Cook can do. I feel like he was hitting some marks, but no one was catching him, like AD and Mechie. Look, I think he'll get the chance this week. I don't know why you'd go back to Fields, and Tyrod's probably not healthy. So let's see what Cook can do with a full week of practice.
Yeah. I didn't watch him. It wasn't like watching Brett Ripien of a few years ago, or any one of these guys, or Luke Falk or anything like that. Like, there were some impressive throws that I don't think that even Fields definitely wouldn't hit it, but even Tyrod at times, like Tyrod wouldn't have been as aggressive as Cook was. So I like the aggression from Cook. And obviously when you're down 21-0 right off the jump of the game, it's hard for any quarterback, any OC, when guys are just teeing off on you as pass rushers, because you can't really run the ball a lot to get back in the game. So he was not put in an ideal situation in that game. So yeah, let's see what he has the last 4 weeks. Again, I was not impressed. I wasn't unimpressed either. I was kind of like, okay, like a decent game for Cook to start off.
Decent indeed. Super chat from Mike Perez. He says, everyone is so worried about our 2027 first-round pick. I think our Colts first-round pick this year is just as important, quarterback and offensive weapon in the first round. Unless you have to use that pick to move up, Mike, and then you have 2 second-round picks potentially to take a receiver with one of those. But look, I understand people love the 3 firsts in 2027. If I had to trade one of them, but I got to keep the Colts pick in a trade up, like, that's appealing to me as well, Joe.
Yeah, it all depends, again, like how strong is that 2027 class? Everybody's hyping it up, but again, the quarterback class of this year was hyped up, so you really don't know. But yeah, if you could split the difference and like, hey, instead of having just 1 this year, have 2 this year, 2 next year, like I would be fine with that. I'm kind of indifferent if they trade it. Like I guess based on the rumors of it being a stronger class, I'd rather keep it. But then it's also 1 less year of that guy like developing with your quarterback and stuff. So I understand it either way. I don't think it's like a lock where you have to hold on to the 2027 picks.
Next play here in the film review. Yeah. Here's Brady Cook letting himself cook.
So this isn't a good one. So we got a smash concept here, and it actually works out like a natural rub, because the linebacker, I don't know, it could be maybe a safety right above the 50-yard marker. he gets rubbed by the vertical from the number one right here. And it's a situation where reading this, like you're going to read the vertical receiver first, but the vertical receiver has a corner over the top of it. So you're never going to throw that ball. The out route by, I believe it's Mason Taylor, is open because of like the natural rub that takes place. This is a ball that he should come off of the first read pretty quickly here because of the safety sitting high, then get to the 2 and Mason Taylor and see that he's rubbed and throw this ball all day. He then just throws the ball out of bounds. So there's plays where it's like, okay, you want more from Cook. And again, there was more later on, and this isn't a Cook evaluation, by the way. If I was doing just a Cook eval, I would show the good plays of Cook too. This is more just based on the misses from defense and offense. But a play that he missed right there on that smash concept.
Pain.
The pain, the sickness, everything was into that. It was into that. But yeah, I got 2 more left of the. Do you even want to? So the interception, I can just kind of talk through that. It's a stop and go. The corner is sitting with heavy inside leverage, and he needs to throw that ball outside shoulder and short all day long. He throws it inside and it's an easy pick. Like that's an easy one to break down. There's really not even much to get through there. And with that play, that he has so much time in the pocket. It's not like he forced the ball because he was getting rushed. He forced the ball for no reason. He had plenty of time in the pocket in that play. Forced the ball. And then let me see what the next one is before I get to the defense, just because I don't want to take up too much time and the computer is struggling a little bit. This is I'll show this one. This one's a little bit more intricate with the near interception from Cook. And I don't know. It's not. Yeah. Let's see here if this one is going to work. Nope. All right. Let's move on to defense.
What about the end? Sometimes it starts very late. Like you play it. I don't know.
New computer will be coming in recent months or in the next few months, Jake. So we're not going to worry about this in a few months. Dude, my God. Yeah. It's I think this thing, I got it in 2017. So like right now, like you just hear the air pushing out so hard because I just did the short review for my film show, the long review, and then a stream. So now it's been running for like 4 hours and my computer is just dying right now. So let's see if I can get to some of the defensive plays and it's going to actually freaking work. So my apologies, chat, for the computer being so shitty today.
Real quick, Chris wants to know your thoughts about tunnel screen throws to Brees.
Well, tunnel screens are typically to receivers because you have to be. It's a receiver who you run tunnel screens to. So unless you flex them out wide, then yeah, you can run a tunnel screen. But then also you're going to flex them out wide. The defense will be a little bit keyed in on it. Do I think that the Jets should emphasize Brees more in the pass game in terms of like designed plays for him? No doubt about it. Do I think, and I also showed an example or two, and that the missed smash concept I was just about to show has Brees in the flat wide open, and Cook tries to force the ball to Mason Taylor. So I showed you 2 plays specifically of Brees Hall in the flat as a check down, who was open, who should have been hit, who was not hit. So it's like, yeah, there should be some more plays for Brees, but also it's because of the quarterbacks and them not being willing to go to the check down and not getting to the check down quickly, right? Because part of it's not just getting to the check down. It's also the speed you get to it, because the quicker you get to it, the more open they are. So part of it's the quarterbacks as well. A lot of like running backs, in terms of their production is not them being designed, unless you're like Christian McCaffrey, Bijan, something like that. A lot of it's just like check downs and the quarterbacks being efficient with getting rid of the ball. So there was at least 2, probably 3 or 4 plays this game where I wanted to see the ball get to Brees on a pass where the quarterback just didn't get to him and they forced the ball through out of bounds, whatever it may be. So, but undoubtedly they need to design a little bit more up for Brees, but take into effect that a lot of it's typically check downs and we're just not getting to them.
All right, let's get to the next play here then. Yeah. The defense looks like it's Brandon Stevens getting beat for the touchdown here.
Dude, and this one's not even like this one's it's on Stevens, it's on the DB coach, it's on Wilkes as well. These are plays that are really, really frustrating because this is, I'm going to say high school, maybe collegiate level, like understanding of football, maybe even high school level. This is elementary type stuff, but just based on the formation, you have a 3-by-1, right? So you have 3 receivers to the bottom, 3 passing, or not 3 receivers. You have 3 passing threats to the bottom, and you have Jalen Waddle to the top. You're not going to really have to worry about a fade route to Jalen Waddle because he's not Mike Evans. He's not George Pickens. He's not, any one of these guys, T. Higgins. So most likely, based on the formation, even before the snap, even if it didn't happen, I would anticipate this happening. Quarterbacks are typically going to read the passing strength first, right? So you're going to read the bottom of the screen first, and if the passing trains to the bottom, you're reading the bottom first, you're not going to throw a fade route to the backside. So there's a 90% chance just pre-snap that this is going to be either a slant or some type of crosser for Jalen Waddle. Just based on formation, there is absolutely no reason for Stevens to not be pressed up on the line of scrimmage and severely inside leverage here, because make Jalen Waddle a receiver who's not a fade ball contested catch guy beat you on a fade route instead of just inviting him with his speed on an inside on a drag route. It makes absolutely no sense for Stevens to be playing as far off and heads up leverage here on the backside of a 3-by-1. Now, if there was another receiver over there, okay, I get it a little bit, but on the backside of a 3-by-1, it makes literally zero sense. So just based on leverage of Stevens. So is that Stevens? Are they giving him the flexibility to know the leverage, like to play the leverage that he wants to? Is that the DB coach? Is that Wilkes? I don't know exactly what it is because I'm not in the meeting rooms, but the leverage he's playing with there pre-snap loses the play before the ball is even snapped. So it's really frustrating to see from the Jets defense. That's just a gimme play. It's beyond dumb to play that like that.
It's been the same problems all year. Those type of plays, poor communication, bad tackling. I mean, it was all on display in this game. Brutal. Yeah.
I got 4 more left, and it's all just that was based on leverage. These are just straight up blown defenses where you have, and we've been doing this all year. Like this is not new. This one's a cover 3. I believe it ends up being, so it's a fire zone 3. So you have 3 deep, 3 underneath, and not always, but generally you want the 3 underneath kind of splitting the difference, underneath from like sideline to sideline. And if you guys can see Quincy between the hashes right here, Quincy is responsible for the bottom, like flat, like hook to curl or like hook to flat area of the screen. And you have the, is it a slider out or is it just a check? So the tight end to the bottom right here, he blocks it and releases into the flat. Quincy is staring at the play action and has absolutely no idea that the tight end releases into the flat. And look how open he is. Like when he catches the ball, Quincy is, what would you say that is, Jake? 15 yards away
easily
from him?
Yeah.
Like that's his area. That's where he's supposed to be. And he bit so hard on the play action. And it's not like the Dolphins aren't a team who gives you plenty of eye candy. Like in terms of eye candy, they're up there with some of the best teams in the NFL with it. Like, they're going to be doing this stuff. So read your keys. And on top of that, like just based on pre-snap, like let's say the tight end who was attached right here just broke immediately into the flat. Just based on his leverage, it's going to be hard for him to get there. So I don't even understand the alignment in terms of
ugly.
Yeah.
More
4
ugly.
more weeks.
God.
More ugly coming. 3 more ugly plays coming, and my computer could take a rest. So this is another blown defense. Wow, what a shocker from the Jets. But we have 2 right here where, man. So bottom of the screen, another cover 3. You have Azaria Thomas, who is trying his absolute best to pass this off, whether it be to Sherwood, who's near the bottom hash or the near hash to us, or to Oliver, because like you have like cut defenses and replacement defenses where basically in a cover 3, if this receiver were to break to the inside, the middle of the field safety drops down on it, and then the bottom of the field corner is going to replace his zone. That's what it looks like it's supposed to be, or something close to that. Oliver is late to match it. You have both Sherwood and Quincy who are looking at the running back. None of them are in the middle of the field. It's a wide open over route. And then not only that, Jake, he's wide open right off the snap, but to the very top of the screen, Malachi Moore is near the top hash. He bites in the play action. He loses contain on the slide route right there. And the slide route's wide open too. So if Waller wasn't open, he's going to get his eyes eventually to the flat route right there at the top of the screen. And Malachi Moore is outflanked by 5 yards because he bit on the play action as well. So you have 2 guys who are wide open within a second. You know, what was this? We're 3 and 10, so 13 weeks now of this.
Embarrassing. It's so bad. Will we still have 2 more?
Yep, 2 more. 2 more. And this is a Maui Noah blown coverage, and another cover 3. Like this is generic stuff. Like these aren't even intricate coverages, but you have Stevens to the top of the screen. He matches the vertical. Malachi Moore does a good job of carrying, I think it's Waller, to the top in motion right here because he knows that the 1 is vertical. So now Stevens' deep zone is occupied. So he does a good job of carrying the 2. who becomes the one. And then Maui Noah, who's standing between the hashes right here, is going to be responsible for the number 3, who's the tight end who I believe is attached right now. Tight end runs an out route, and Maui Noah is so focused on the play action that he's burned. Like, again, look how open these guys are. And these are generic coverage. Like, these are not super intricate. And you have a guy running that wide open again for an easy first down. The linebackers in coverage have been the biggest problem with this defense. It is horrific.
Big fella. I blame Sherwood for not taking charge and getting guys in place. Wilkes sucks, but Sherwood's supposed to be the leader of the defense. His fault.
Yeah, we feel that Mosley impact, right? Like, just having that green dot player like that is so important for getting guys aligned and stuff and what to expect. And Sherwood's clearly not there. On top of that, the only thing he really does plus is tackle guys. He can't cover guys. He can't get guys set. And he can't take guys on take on blocks in the run game. So, like, the only thing he does positively is tackle, which, okay, great, but my God, he's been bad this year. That's one of the worst. That's like Tremaine Johnson level bad contract right now. It's looking like so
bad,
awful. But only one play, and then we're done watching this absolute trash from the Jets. And this is one where, again, it's like pre-snap here, they're screwing themselves. Like, before the play even starts, this isn't, the eyes are in the wrong place. This is an alignment issue, just like the Stevens play was. So what do you know, Jake? It's third down. What are the Jets running? Man coverage. Wow, I'm so surprised they're running man coverage. So what's the man coverage beater? You're going to take your number 1 to the top right here, and he's going to run a short hitch, which acts like a rub route. And then the slot, the number 2 to the top, is going to run a quick flat route, which is going to act like a natural rub against Stevens. So typically here, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to have a banjo call where you're going to play first in, first out. So if the outside goes out, or if the inside goes out quickly, the outside corner takes them, and vice versa for inside. So you banjo it. If they switch like this, they switch their man responsibilities. That or what you teach guys to do, again, this is elementary stuff. Banjo calls are more intricate, but to the top here, what you don't want to do in man coverage is when guys are tighter splits like this to each other, the receivers, you do not play at the same level. Why? Because you tend to run into each other. One guy, if you're not on a banjo call, has to play at a different level. 3 yards deeper, 4 yards deeper, 5 yards deeper, something like that. So it's not acting like a natural rub. They don't do that either. They run into each other, and Waddle has a easy first down on a flat route. It's just, I don't know what else to say about this defense. It literally does not get worse.
Wilkes cannot be the DC after this year. Can't do it.
No. And like, I'm almost rooting for them not to get a pick this year and not get any more turnovers. Like, at what point do you only have like 2 turnovers on defense, or whatever, no picks, and you see all these blown? Like, Glenn can't be
one
that
turnover
stupid,
on defense,
right?
by the way, one, because the special teams butt punt. That's like, it's a joke.
So Glenn would have to be an absolute buffoon to it's not like I'm just like taking shots in the dark here, like, oh, I don't know what's going on or whatever on this play. Like, it is all really elementary football stuff, like nothing overly intricate. And it's easy to see for even like novice film watchers that how bad this defense is. So if they don't fire him, we have really, really, really big problems with Glenn, either the dedication to his staff or lack of evaluation of what his guys are doing, because my God, if he's not fired, we have serious, serious problems.
Brutal. 2 super chats and then we're done here, Joe. David says, Joe, factoring the Jets quarterback situation this season and the various issues the Jets have had at receiver, what areas do you believe Tanner Engstrand needs to improve moving forward the season and beyond?
Yeah, I feel like we've kind of hit on this quite a bit so far. So I feel like I'm repeating myself a little bit. So if he hasn't been here, then it is what it is. But it's short yardage situations and being a little bit more creative there, right? And I think it's getting Brees more involved in the passing game as a true passing like threat and not just as a check down option. Now, I'm not saying 10 times a game, but designed 3-4 plays for Brees a game. Now, it is hard when he's the focal point of the offense because Garrett Wilson's out and they have no other talent. So it is hard for Engstrand, but short yardage and specifically getting Brees involved more in the passing game, screens and things like that. Again, I don't think he's great. Like, I've never claimed him to be great. I also don't think he's awful. I'm showing you plays where guys are open. There's levels. There's guys in the flat. There's Brees Halls in the flat. Everyone's passes to him and he's not, and people aren't getting the ball there. So how do you say that to Engstrand? Like, and people are like, oh, well, Engstrand, design the fade for him. If the fade's not open, don't throw it. And if the fade is open, but you put it in a bad spot, how is that Anchorman's fault? Like Anchorman's not in his headset saying, hey, throw this ball. Like you give guys multiple options on plays. So if something is covered up, you have a secondary option, a third option. They don't just say, hey, go to this guy no matter what. Like that's not how plays work. You have first reads and stuff, but like I can't kill Anchorman for this. Like I'm seeing it. I show it every single week on the show that there's guys running open and stuff. Look at the Beck play. Remember the Beck play where he caught that ball?
Yep.
It was a post wheel. You had Cook who pumped the flat right there. They bite on it, and then Beck's open on a wheel route, and it's easy gain. That's a nice design by him. Mechie dropped the drop swing pass for a touchdown. That was a nice design because what they did was I believe it was a man coverage. They run a return motion, so he runs underneath the formation and then back out. The corner gets lost in traffic, and it's a wide open swing route. Design touchdown, easy pitch and catch. Ball is dropped. That Mechie play I showed against the Ravens, pitch and catch for a touchdown. The drag route to Mechie that he dropped for a touchdown. So like, again, not perfect, but to say that he's terrible at this point, I think you're hurting your arm on the reach there. I'm showing it literally every single week. I don't know, like past the point of me showing it, it's he said, she said, I don't know what to do. I can't do anything else but show you.
Well said. Ralphie, super chat, our last one. Even worse, we're seeing Wright gash the Jets D for 8 yards a clip in the fourth quarter and seeing Jamie and Sherwood get balled.
Yeah. The Jets are allowing too many bubbles on the front side, and they're attacking Sherwood. They're attacking Maui Noah. Harrison Phillips is clearly playing a little bit injured. The safeties are brutal. That play for that was 40-yard run by Jalen Wright. You had 3 guys who are literally hugging him, and they don't bring him down. You have Will McDonald on one play. He didn't get trucked in that play. If you remember the Will McDonald play where he got the tackle broken, he has the running back for what should be like a 4 or 5 yard gain, and instead of tackling him, he tries to strip the ball. Like you're down 14 points, you can get back in the game there. It's not a do or die situation to strip the ball. He tries to strip it, a tackle gets broken. It's like the defense is horrific, and they don't have a ton of talent, but they have more talent than to the level they're playing right now. The coaching is really, really bad.
Brutal. All right, Joe. Thanks for doing this. Thanks to the impromptu Mendoza review. We'll get your computer situation figured out for the future because we're going to have plenty more of quarterback debate and breakdowns in the entire offseason.
Yeah, I cannot legitimately express how disappointed I am when my computer sucked, especially for that clip or for that segment. So I'll get it figured out. It'll be cleaned up in the future. So I apologize, but I appreciate the people who were patient at least.
You're the man, Joe. Thanks for coming on as always. Great job.
Yep. Thanks, Jake. I'll talk to you next week.
Joe Blewett with us. All right, guys. We were going to do a raffle today, but just full transparency, I feel like absolute doo-doo. So I don't even have the ability to stay on and take calls and do the normal show. So I'm going to wrap it here. If you entered a super chat or membership, it will go towards tomorrow's show. So it will roll over into tomorrow. I'm going to up the prize for the first show tomorrow since we didn't get to do one here, but I got to stop talking, get some rest because I am dying. If you saw me popping off camera in and out, that was so I could blow my nose and cough and not do it on the air and ruin Joe's film breakdown. So I'm going to wrap the show early. And we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Nick Shines, the guest, Jeff Parle, should be on with us for the afternoon show. So apologies for not going as long as we normally do, but we did give you a full-length 2-hour plus show this morning. So check that out if you missed it. Again, thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you again to Joe Blewett for his excellent film breakdown. I will leave you all with something that I feel needs to be played because we need to think about a time when the Jets were actually good. So I leave you with this. Go Jets, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
To all the non-believers. To all the non-believers. Anybody can be beat. We're pissed off. People gave us no chance like we barely made it in the playoffs. We're a good football team. For all you non-believers, disrespect us, talk crap about the defense like we ain't the third best defense in the league. All we hear is about their defense. They can't stop a nosebleed. 25th in the league, and we the one to get disrespected.
Congratulations. See you in Pittsburgh.
Can't wait.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go Jets.